What's the Car Talk podcast?
Hello and welcome back to the Car Talk podcast, a show where we talk about the latest car news and the latest transport opinion. We are back doing our faces because last time we didn't do our faces wasn't because the footage corrupted, it was because we made a choice to not to, obviously, as you know, Matty. How are you doing this week?
Definitely wasn't me.
No.
Very good, thanks, Bailey. It's nice to know that people want to see our faces. I read the comments about the facial expressions as well, so it's nice that people enjoy watching me eat curries and things like that, so that's good.
I would agree, yes, it is. I do think it makes the podcast a bit more lively, you know. We're seeing our reactions and how we communicate with each other. It's good fun. Yeah.
So what is the theme for the podcast this week?
Well, the theme obviously is discuss the car news, which we do every month, and we've got a special theme, Matty, which is we're going to be talking about a scenario in which if you were put in an apocalyptic situation, what car would you choose and how would you change the car in order to sort of suit the environment that you're in, which would be quite interesting.
It could happen, and I've got just the car for the job, which we'll find out later.
I've got a couple in mind, but I'm still trying to choose which one's better.
For now though, before we head to the actual car news, we've both got a bit of car updates in our actual lives, haven't we? So you want me to go first with mine?
Sure.
So, well, the biggest news for me is that my BMW E46 3 Series on a V-Reg is up for sale. Bailey was going to buy it. He changed his mind on the last minute, so he's just one of those tyre kickers that comes round to your house and wastes your time. So if you'd like to buy my BMW, it is for sale, because Bailey didn't buy it. Yeah. What about you?
Well, I've recently had some new brakes fitted to the Mazda because, well, I'm pretty sure all the discs, well, most of the discs were original, and you can imagine how pretty much gone they were, so it was really nice to eventually have them fitted, and now the car drives brilliantly.
So you definitely don't want to buy the BM?
I'll let you know.
And in other news as well, obviously the BM, I've stepped out of that. That's residing at my mother's house at the minute. So I'm back in the Saxo, back in the original first car. But a bit of bad news this week, Bailey. The wheel trims fell off. I've lost it on the motorway. So,
oh no. Anyway, Matty, let's move on to the car news instead.
Right.
I've got a few different new cars this month, most of which are pretty boring. What about yourself? Have you got anything interesting?
Well, of course, it's been the Paris Motor Show this week, or recently, because depending on when the viewers and listeners see this podcast. So there's been a couple of new cars, very intriguing ones. I'd like to start off with a new Rolls Royce. It's first of all, it's called the Spectre, which I think is fantastic name. It starts the brand's electric future, so it says. It's got 576 bhp. It is a coupe, I must mention, so sort of, it's a bit like a hardtop version of the Phantom Drophead, but a lot nicer. Going to cost in excess of £300,000 according to Auto Express magazine. And if you are on the Auto Express website itself, you'll see a picture of a lovely lady who doesn't look like she dresses like a Rolls Royce owner at all, but she's sort of leaning against the car looking up at the stars. But I don't know if you got the image, Bailey, but I think it looks like a brilliant car. I personally love it.
Yes, I agree. And fun fact, Matty, we actually mentioned this car a few months ago on one of the podcasts because it was originally a concept, and obviously now they've brought it to life, which is good. And I do find myself liking the look of it. It's got very sort of almost BMW and Bentley vibes to it, but I think it's an overall good-looking car.
I think if you'd have asked someone 10 years ago to draw a Rolls Royce of the future, like an actual car designer, this is what they would have come up with, and I'm so glad that it's actually getting produced in real life, because it does actually. It's very rare that there's a car where I just look at it and I go, I'd love to see one of them in real life. the interior, it's not much to write home about.
But I quite like the interior because it's still keeping with the old original Rolls-Royce sort of look inside, isn't it?
I suppose the dashboard isn't actually really the main part of a Rolls-Royce. It is, all about the back where Sir Alan sits.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks funky, but not like funky in a tacky way. It looks really, really nice. Actually,
it's not too over the top.
I would quite like to see one of them.
Yeah, I agree. And I hopefully will be able to see one in my local garage, which is just 2 minutes from me. Hopefully they'll have some there, and I can go and have a good
you'll
look at it.
Probably see one outside, like your local Waitrose or something.
Yeah, most likely. Yeah.
One final thing on the roller as well is that it's got the what is the Angel called? Is it the what is she called that sits on the bonnet of a Rolls Royce?
Isn't it Angel? I thought it was Angel.
The Angel of the North, anyway, sits on the front of the Rolls Royce, and in this new Spectre, they've got it on the. Well, I think it's the volume for the radio as well, which I think is a nice touch.
Yeah, that's cool. Moving on to more GT cars, Matty. This is another electric car, and it's the new Maserati Gran Turismo Folgore, which is actually not particularly, it's not a very nice name to say, really, if you ask me. But it's if you get the pictures up, it looks very nice actually. It's sort of a cross between almost a Jag and the original sort of Gran Turismo.
I see what you mean.
Yeah, the front is quite sort of Jaguar. This will rival the Taycan. It's got a triple motor setup with 745 brake horsepower. What do we think? Will it top the Taycan?
Not the best looking car. I mean, neither's the Taycan, but I still think it's a little bit below par. It just doesn't give me, as James May would say, not to obsessively quote Top Gear, but it doesn't give me the fizz that a Maserati should. I think it's very safe styling. Yeah. I
agree, and
but
also
the stats look good.
It does, yeah. I mean, the stats are good, but it's just, I wish it would just have their V8 in it. It would just be so much nicer. I'd actually like that more if it had the V8, obviously.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's it. Almost every car is heading for an electric future, isn't it? And I seen one actually that was retaining. It said it was retaining the V8 engine, but that ironically isn't a car that I've included because I only include like shit cars and shit headlines in my car news section.
Apart from the Rolls Royce, which was a bit of a change.
Apart from the Rolls Royce, I wanted to start off as with the best, where they say like the good news before the bad news. The rest of it all goes a little bit downhill because the Hyundai Ioniq 7, which will be coming out in 2023. Bailey, if you haven't seen this yet, Google it right now. If you think that the new BMW grills are bad, if you think anything that China produces is bad, take a look at the radiator on the 2023 Hyundai Ioniq 7.
That is ghastly, isn't it?
There just isn't a single bit of car on the front of that. It's
you know what I've seen this post on Instagram once, and it was saying the future of BMW, and it said from 2010 when it had a normal grille, 2020 now it had the sort of big grille, and it's like when it's jumped to like 2050 the whole car was a grille, and I think that's what is actually going on here. It's getting to that point.
What's funny about this is that this car is all electric. It doesn't have it does not need at all. Electric 7-seat SUV. It's getting ready for production. Do you know
what that would annoy me if that whole grille lit up with like LED lights,
like the Golf.
Yeah.
Let's see now if it stays true to its concept, which the Ioniq 5 and 6 certainly did. Then we'll see a boxy, high-riding SUV with full-width LED headlight bar at the front, joined by two Matrix-style lights lower down on the bluff front end.
I don't like it.
Can't wait for that. I don't like it either.
It's just rubbish, isn't it? It's just that car we had last week? Sorry, last month. And it was the car. I can't remember it now. It was that.
Was it a Genesis?
No, it wasn't a Genesis. I know you hate Genesis. The one we were on about, and we had that like almost space age interior. I mean, it was just like horrible. We said it was the worst car.
Yeah, I can't remember what that was, but yeah,
that was how boring it was. I just couldn't be bothered to remember it. Matty, talking of looks though, what do you think of the new BMW M2 that's just been released? Personally, when I first saw it, I thought it was a Lego car, but it actually is what it will look like. It's the new, obviously, BMW M2, and they've already released the 2 Series a while back, but now this is the performance version.
Could you just keep saying BMW M2 while I find the right... Oh, God, I found it. No need... Really?
I know, it's horrible.
That looks old-fashioned, that.
Yeah, it's almost out of date before it's even released, isn't it?
And it doesn't look in the slightest bit aerodynamic. Like, look at how like, the edges on that lower grille. Like, that is... Yeah, I love a boxy car, but not... No,
if you compare it to the previous M2, that previous M2 is just miles ahead of it in terms of design.
So this is this based on the 2 Series? Is it? Is that what this is? Is it still like that with BMs, or is it changed?
Yeah, this is the 2 Series M car. You know how they all make the standard series cars, and this is the performance one. So you know it will still have the 454 horsepower. Inline 6 or whatever it is. I think it's got the inline 6, but you know that's not going to really strike me that much. Is this just
an M styling pack, or is this going to be on the regular 2 Series as well?
This is the M2, so it's like the top spec. It's 2 Series.
Is there going to be a competition version, or
I bloody hope not. Sorry,
not interested.
I'm not interested.
Speaking of Lego cars as well, Stellantis, who own Vauxhall, Peugeot, Citroën, Fiat, they plan to offer used car parts for up to 30% less, and you may be wondering what that has to do with Lego cars, but there seems to be a picture of a Lego car here, and is that real?
Wow.
Is that real?
That's got to be a render or something.
What is that?
I don't know. It's just it looks like almost like a toy. It looks like you could stand like taller than it, doesn't it?
On the story that says that Stellantis are going to offer used parts is a Citroën sort of Lego car, which I thought was quite cool. And you know, and if you want to talk about the parts, word of advice: don't buy a used part off Stellantis, because you can't get through to them anyway to buy a new part, even if you wanted to. Take it from someone who knows. Bit of consumer advice there.
We like consumer advice on the Car Talk podcast. I'll give you some more consumer advice if you like, Matty.
Go ahead.
Another boring entry to the car market at the moment, especially German car. We have a new Mercedes. Now, you know how they make the C63s and stuff like that? Well, they've got the new one, the new C63, which visually I've got nothing bad to say about it. I think it looks pretty good. In terms of the styling, you know, it's modern. It's got good curves and sort of. But my problem with the car is, I think we announced this last year, is that AMG are now going to sort of go not even from V8, they're going to 4 cylinders, and this new C63 is a 4-cylinder, which is not really living up to the name of the C63 when it's meant to be a 6.2 litre V8. But there we are. Now I watched a video of it like driving through the scenery in one of the photos shown on here, and they were showcasing the sound of it, and it just sounded like a washing machine. It literally just sounded like a kitchen appliance. It just it was so bland, and that's obviously because it's a 4-cylinder and it's just.
It's still got 670 bhp though.
It does. It will trump a lot of the previous models, but it's just.
Yeah.
I would rather have an older model for the sound.
You'd rather have a little bit of charisma here, a little bit more of a show, of course.
I bet you when you're driving it, you probably don't even realise you're actually going fast, because you probably can't even hear it.
You know who to blame for this, don't you?
No.
Well, you know who to blame. It's the link for my next story. Just stop oil protesters. That's who to blame. Because have you heard about this, Bailey? This week they've been blocking the Dartford crossing.
Yes.
And they say they won't move until they are forcibly removed.
Well, that's fine, because we can quite happily run them over without any hesitation.
Detonate
which is what
them?
I might. Yeah, I know. It's just, mate. I saw on the motorway that wasn't even anywhere near the M25. It said avoid Dartford crossing, and I was like, I wonder why that is. Just because there's some illegal immigrants on the road. That's why, and all the unemployed people. So yeah, that's a bit of a shame. It's just really annoying, isn't it? It's just hate them.
Yeah, it's very hard to get fully on board with what they're talking about. Really, have you got any more news, baby?
I have one more car to showcase, Matty. It is a new Porsche. I mean, it doesn't look new because obviously every Porsche looks the same. But it's the new Carrera T. If you look at the pictures, Matty, it's a Porsche. It's got some Porsche things, but I'm interested in the stats mainly, because this is basically a lightened version of the standard Carrera. I don't know why they've named it T. They could have called it L or something, because it is, well, a lose. Because think about it, if you actually pay more, I think you have to pay more money for this. It's like 9,000 more than the standard one, and obviously you get lightened version, which means they've taken out things like the seats, they've made the glass thinner, and it's got less soundproofing. So actually you're paying more for less car, which I'm just really sort of confused by.
Porsche is one of them. It's just so confusing. That's what puts me off. All the cars look the same, and if you even went into a dealer like with wanting a specific car, you probably end up paying for a car that's more expensive with less power than the one you went in for. So what is the point?
Yeah, I agree,
that does not appeal to me at all.
The only thing that does appeal to me is the manual. It's got a manual gearbox, and that's what I really like about Porsche. They're still sort of doing that, and it's still keeping the original manual. But that's all the car news that I've got.
Got a couple more things left. If this would have really tied in with we've got people on the Dartford crossing protesting about oil, really, and the alternative really is this is what we can look forward to in the future. It was at the Paris Motor Show this month or last month, depending on when you're watching, if you're watching on Dave or something, but this is the Whey Coffee 01 spearheads Chinese brand's UK launch. So this is a Chinese brand called Whey, and it's coming to the UK. It's a luxury SUV with a huge 93 miles of pure EV range, which is good, isn't it? And it's a luxury SUV with sort of a Citroen DS grille, and nothing really to get excited about. But it is called a Whey. It's called the Coffee, and also there is the Whey Funky Cat as well. So there's a lot of strange names going on here.
That? That's weird.
This is, it's a Chinese electric car brand that we can all look forward to, and it's going to be around £48,000, 48 grand to get you 93 miles.
Wow!
I can see why they're protesting, and they want us to get out of petrol and diesel cars.
Honestly, that makes more sense now. I mean, I thought Whey was the type of protein powder that I have in the morning, but
I remember I tried that once. Yeah.
It's fantastic, mate. It's good stuff. I need to get some more, actually.
Would you like to sponsor us, Whey Protein?
Yeah, please sponsor us, Whey.
Vanilla, strawberry, coffee, we know all the flavours.
This podcast is sponsored by Whey Protein.
And Raid Shadow Legends.
God, that was a classic, that one. But in terms of the Whey car, mate, I don't know about it. It's another SUV that we just don't need more SUV. I don't know why they keep making them. It's getting on my nerves now.
We don't want to. Anything that's made in China, we probably need. Apart from that, we've got enough
apart
cars,
from cars,
we've got Genesis, for God's sake. We don't need anything else buttering up our roads.
Yeah, but you don't really see many Genesis, to be honest.
Good reason. Just to end off the car news, I have got one final funny story. Are you aware, Bailey, of the Vauxhall Corsa limited edition?
Yes, I am, very much.
Well, there's a gentleman selling one, and he's went viral for this, frankly, A1 description. It's not because it's an Audi, but that it's good.
Yeah.
For I don't know how much of this to read. For all you motherfuckers who think a combination of AstroTurf trainers, straight cut jeans and a quiff is appropriate attire for public use, I bring you the chariot of the gods. When I say gods, I mean more priests in the sense that you are into minors. Vauxhall Corsair, VXR. This beast will get you the girl that you want, and what could be a better time as since she started high school. She's now allowed to walk past school without her parents. Just pull up and your dreamiest quiff sporting AstroTurf shoe and Matalan bootcut rocking bastard in town. Finished in BT Van White. Apparently it's limited edition, there we go, but I think that's a manufacturer's decision, more the fact they didn't sell as many as you have to be a special kind of knobhead to want to part with £16,000 for a Corsa with a fucking body kit on it, and then it just says everything that it's got.
That's brilliant.
So this guy went viral, and it's an absolutely brilliant advert, and the car actually sold, so no such thing as bad publicity, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, props to him. I mean, he's pretty much described the Corsa community very well, aren't there?
I know, yeah, he's reaching right out to his audience there.
Yes. But let's move on to our theme, Matty, if that's all your car news and stuff.
It certainly is. Good week for car news. I was excited there.
Yes, it was good. Now, we mentioned our theme already. It's we're going to be talking about it's a discussion, sort of how you would react in this scenario sort of thing. And it's specifically apocalyptic scenarios. We would have to design a car, choose a car, and sort of make it suitable for that sort of situation. Now, obviously, the obvious choices you'd be like, oh, just get a tank, it's fine. Well, you can't really live in a tank. It's quite, crowded in there. So you maybe want a spacious sort of SUV or something like that. So what have you got on mind, Matty, for your apocalyptic car?
Would you like me to go first?
Yeah, go on then.
Well, I have two, but I'll tell you my main one first.
Yes.
I would choose in a zombie apocalypse a Genesis GV70.
Would you?
I really would, and I'll tell you the main reason before I even have to do anything to the car, because I may not. The sheer gopness of that car, the fact that it is so ugly, got them horrible separated lights with the metal in between, and that horrible chintzy grille, that may actually ward off the zombies full stop. They might turn round and go home.
Yeah, you're right.
That's my logic there.
If you watch The Walking Dead...
Well, I watched the first series when it came out, but that was about 10 years ago, so... Yeah, am I wrong? Would they just come for me anyway?
Yeah, I mean, logic of real life, they probably would, yes.
Oh, well, why don't you tell us what your car would be, and then we'll discuss what mods we'd make.
Well, this is a really original idea. My car would be a Mazda MX-5. No, it wouldn't be, I'm joking. Think about it, it's practical, it will get you to the place you want to in no time, and it's practical. No, it's not actually. No, but if I was going to be serious, I would definitely still stick with the Japanese theme of car, and specifically I'd probably do a Land Cruiser or something, a Toyota Land Cruiser, just because they're rugged, they go off-road, they're big, they're spacious, and they just fit loads of you fit a roof box on, like the one in Top Gear, they had the pickup for the North Pole special.
Yeah,
I'd have that one, or possibly the.
I mean, if you've got a roof rack, though, would you want to be getting out of the car to get to your roof rack? That's the only thing.
Well, I could create a system where I could get up the roof box. I could create a roof box and then make a system where I can go up and down it. That could potentially work, and it's a diesel, so you'll get good MPG.
Mine's a hybrid, so you could.
How would you charge it though? Well,
yeah.
If you had an electric car in Apocalypse, it wouldn't work because you'd have to charge it unless it was like a solar panelled car.
I haven't really thought this through, especially when I tell you what I would plan to do with the charging wire. That's part of one of my modifications.
Go on then. What would you do?
Well, I'd have the charging wire, and I'd cover it in nails to to ward off zombies. So I'd hang the wire out of one of the windows if they were coming towards me, sort of wave it about a bit and hope that they tread on the charging wire and get nails in their feet, And failing that, I thought I could have, the way cars these days, forever have had electric folding mirrors.
Yes.
If any zombies came near me, I'd have gaffer tape to the mirrors that were folded in, 2 machetes either side, and just press the button inside the car and fold the mirrors out and just chop them up.
I like that. That's cool. Yeah, I mean, in terms of modifications I would do, I'd probably create a water system, so I pee and then it converts it into purified water. I'd have like a sort of rack for like weapons and things that I would get out of the boot or something like that. And that would include like axes and guns, machine guns, knives, that sort of thing.
I mean, before you mentioned the weapons, I thought you just were talking about that. I thought we'd went 2 different ways. I was trying to kill zombies. You were just trying to survive in a Land Cruiser for fucking however long it took.
Well, that is part of the modifications. You want to sort of survive, don't you? You want to stay in this car and live in it.
No, I just want them dead for as quickly as possible. And so
yeah, but you could be efficient and you could sleep in your car and then move on to the next herd and kill them all. And also, I'd probably put a plough on the front of my Land Cruiser as well that would like retract.
That's it. So I haven't got the ground clearance in my Genesis to do that, really. That's the only thing.
But if I was gonna, if I crashed or the Land Cruiser blew up, for example, I'd probably like go and get a van or something and just sort of, like fully just strip it out and just put like a bed in there and everything I need, like a big transporter van. It'd be cool. Probably maybe like bulletproof it or something.
I've gone the other way with my second choice, to be fair, because obviously I'm right in saying that zombies go for humans mostly, right?
Yes.
What if I'm not a human? Or what if they don't see me?
It's not really how it works.
Well, because obviously if you're a human, then they'll recognise you in a Genesis or a Land Cruiser or whatever. But what if I was in like a Citroen Ami? They'd think I was a bin. So if I was in a Citroen Ami just parked up next to some bins, some wheelie bins, they'd just walk right past me and go to you in your Land Cruiser.
Yeah, probably, but...
No, I haven't watched The Walking Dead.
I was about to mention it again, because they react to noise. So anything that's like making a noise, they go and attack it. So obviously an electric car would be quite helpful, but if they see you moving, they're still going to be like, oh shit, yeah, that's actually what I want to eat now. But yeah, if you were parked in your Ami, then probably be alright. But it'd be the same if I was parked in my Land Cruiser as well. But I've got more space.
Yeah, true. I wouldn't like living in an Ami, put it that way. Yeah,
I mean, I suppose... What in terms of your plan though, Matty? Like, what would you do if there was a zombie apocalypse broke out in London? I mean, obviously you're a bit further away from me to London, so you'd have a bit more time than me to prepare. But what would you sort of do?
I don't know. I really haven't thought this through as much as many other people have. But I just thought when you suggested this challenge to me, I just saw it as okay. Pick a car, add some weapons to it, and just fucking try and ward them off. I just thought, if I need a wee, I'd just piss in a bottle. You know what I mean? I haven't really thought as far as how I'd live. You know what I mean? I don't know. I think you've covered all the bases there. I was pretty. Vote in the comments who you reckon would win in a zombie apocalypse. That's a good idea.
Yes, yeah. Vote in the comments.
Bayley with his plan in a Toyota Land Cruiser, or me with
a brand new Genesis.
Absolutely no plan, and a brand new Genesis. Would the ugliness of the Genesis ward them off? I don't know.
You'd probably be reviewing it as you're like driving through a horde of zombies. You'd be like, I hate the Genesis. And then that'd be the death of you, mate. But yeah, leave a comment. What would you do in a zombie apocalypse? We'd love to hear your thoughts on what sort of car you would probably choose. And well, yeah, I think that wraps up the podcast, isn't it? A nice and good length podcast. Nice half an hour.
Lovely length on that podcast. Yeah.
Yes, that's what a lot of women say to me. Anyway, so Matty, do you want to plug in your social medias?
Yeah, if you've never heard of me before, you can watch my YouTube channel. I'm Matty's Cars on YouTube. Follow me on Instagram. It's Matty's Cars YT. And if you really like me and you'd like to see my length, then you can follow my personal Instagram, Matsgram99, where you won't actually get to see my length unless you are. Anyway, I'm digging myself a hole here, aren't I?
Well, let's subscribe to the OnlyFans, which is available on his bio, I think.
That's it.
Yeah. So good news. Now, if you want to follow us on the channel here, which is where this podcast will be going up on, it's Car Culture. Make sure you subscribe to us. We're very, very close to 2,000 subscribers, so that's pretty cool. How many subscribers are you on, Matty, at the moment?
Yes, 1,600.
Oh, you're not bad. You're not far away, but somehow I've managed to overtake you.
Yeah.
Like, again. Just got to post more, Matty. I've been posting quite regularly.
Sorry.
But yes, if you want to follow us on social medias, it's Car Culture YT on Instagram and Car Culture _YT for TikTok, which is where we post lots of just random clips really that you might enjoy. But that's it.
They're
from
the
us.
names for the social media just for this week anyway. They might change again next week, you know.
Funny. Well, that's pretty much it from us, though, I think. And we'll see you next month for another podcast.
See you then.